Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Appreciate the insights. The common theme throughout everything is this sense of building self-awareness for people, having them execute on the self-awareness, what they see in their own development plan and the goals that they need to achieve, having them be able to execute on that and practice it immediately, and then creating that sense within them that they want to change. Because, as we all know, you can't make somebody do anything. All you can do is change your own behavior to help them want to change their own behavior. And it's all about getting people to be self-motivated to grow. What we're going to do next is have a panel discussion. You saw our esteemed list of panelists this morning, and so I'm going to invite our panelists and our moderator up to the stage now to take into a more in-depth analysis of how people have worked through the idea of creating change on skills and then sustaining that change long-term. So I'd like to introduce to you first one of my colleagues and mentors, Lisa Bennis.
Panelists, I welcome you to the stage. Have a seat, please. And my sincere welcome to everyone. I'm delighted to continue this conversation with you. Thank you. So we've already gotten some good information on the topic, and I thank our clients for sharing their perspective. So this topic of sustainability seems forever hot. And the way I translate it in my own mind is, how do we ensure that we are helping our people create the right kind of habits? And not just the habits they need for today in the job that they're doing this moment, but how do we entice them to be interested in the habits they're going to need in the future? Because our organizations are going to depend on our ability to build those habits now so that 5 years from now, they're easy for people to execute on. And I have a team of terrific and diverse people who are going to spend some time talking about that. Let's start just going down the line here. Lawrence, starting with you, if you can introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your connection to the topic.
Sure. Well, my introduction had to change as of like 4 days ago. I was the head coach of the Detroit Pistons, was being the important part. I've been in the NBA for the last 17 years. I was the head coach of the New Jersey Nets. I was an assistant in New Jersey prior to that. I was an assistant with the Boston Celtics for a year, and then most recently, for the past 2 years, I was the head coach of the Detroit Pistons. But home has always been New Jersey, which is where I'm from. I'm from Bergen County, and it's an honor to be with you guys today.
Oh, thank you.
It's also an honor for me to be with all of you today, and I want to say thank you for inviting me to be here. It's great to sit next to a basketball coach. I'm a former basketball player.
This year.
And my introduction has not changed. I'm in the same place. So my name is Ellie Drago-Severson, and I am a professor at Teachers College, Columbia University. And what my connection to this topic is, I've devoted my life, professional life, to understanding how to help people grow and develop. And so for me, leadership development is adult development, and that is connected to change. Change is, for me, really at the level of mindset. So in order to help people change and grow, we need to first think about how they make meaning of their experiences so that we can support them on their journeys. Thanks.
Jerry?
Okay, great, thanks. And again, thanks Lisa and Joe for inviting us here. My name's Jerry Schreck, and I'm responsible for the advisory and sales training at UBS. Essentially, we work with the client-facing salespeople in 3 of our divisions, the investment bank, the asset management group, and the global wealth management group. And I guess my connection is somewhat obvious, but the key thing that I look at is our goal with any training intervention that we work on is to get somebody to do something differently tomorrow than the way they did it yesterday. If we don't get them to change their behavior from before to after, we really haven't added any value. And that's what we struggle with, but that's what we try to accomplish.
Well said.
And good morning, everyone. I am Joe Rigney. I am a partner at Exec-Comm. As a partner, I'm very proud of the work that we do to help business professionals communicate with greater impact and greater clarity. And in terms of the topic of sustainability, I really think it's at the core of what we do at Exec-Comm, whether we're delivering group-based training programs or one-on-one coaching experiences. It is essentially about shifting behavior and forming habits. And on a personal note, I feel very fulfilled when I'm helping people, successful people, become even better at what they do.
Well, thank you again so much, panelists. Jerry, I'm going to start with you. Thinking from the standpoint of both approaches and maybe even technology, what are some of the things you're seeing and perhaps even doing that you feel are really working in our effort to get people to learn new things and hold on to them?
A great question, and it's interesting, some of the comments that came earlier in the program today addressed a lot of these things. What can we give people that'll be there when they need it, and accessibility, and getting the learner involved. It's interesting when we talk about technology. I always look at technology and think to myself, technology is an enabler. It's not the solution in and of itself. And it's interesting, I was talking to Joe a little earlier, there's a pilot program we're running with a company in Germany that has created an app which allows our salespeople, they download the app, and you just kind of click on it and open it up, and it'll play a little video vignette of a client saying something, commenting like, why should I do business with you, or something to that effect. And then it allows the salesperson to respond. Obviously, you have to have the headset and all the pieces hooked up, but it allows you to respond, and it'll immediately then give you feedback and kind of a graphical assessment of your response. Now, the company has done an enormous amount of work and analyzed millions of conversations and identified really traits in the sound in your voice which denote things like confidence and assertiveness and friendliness, and they then report back and say, depending upon the situation, which of those traits you should emphasize. Now, it's actually kind of neat, and the other neat thing about it is you can speak to it in any language. It's language independent because it's just listening for the tonalities. And I always kind of look at it and think to myself, is it really analyzing that stuff? But at the end of the day, I kind of step back and I say, what do I win when I use this? And it's that whole practice thing.
Yeah.
In our industry, and we were talking about this before, Lisa, we don't practice. We assume we're just really good and we can wing it, right? So we don't practice our craft. So I look at it and say, if nothing else, if it intrigues them enough to practice, then I win. And that's really what we kind of try to drive from some of the technology things that we're working on.
Look, I'd go so far as to say in our culture today, there's almost a badge of honor to those who feel they can wing it. And we all know the kind of trouble you can get into when you go that far. So luckily for us, the society is also app obsessed. So hopefully you'll get some good usage from that.